Hello everybody, Molo Sanbonani. Hello, how's it? It is a Monday, a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. If you're watching the Springboks, I'm pretty sure you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And welcome to the Monday edition of The Daily Friend. That's right, The Daily Friend is your show that comes out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On this edition, I'm joined in studio by my able colleagues. We've got Sarah Gon. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Cyril.
Sarah Gon, of course, is the chief editor of The Daily Friend. Daily Friend, if you guys will remember, is our online platform where we share news, opinion, and analysis, dailyfriend.co.za. And in studio, looking much more happier, if I can call it that, is a Marius Rutt. Marius, how are you doing?
Hello, Cyril. How's it going?
Marius, of course, is our writer and analyst, and I'm sure you also enjoyed the weekend rugby.
Yeah, and let's also remember the netball side came fourth in the World Cup, which is also pretty good. So they're the best team this year that we've had in an international tournament. And the last time that the ladies got to the semi-finals of the Netball World Cup, the Springboks won the World Cup in 1995. Hopefully that's a
good
omen.
sign, a good omen. Speaking about good omens, it's our first topic of the day. You know, the courts have given Busisiwe Mkhwebane, the public protector, a bloody nose, haven't they? Sorry, what happened?
This is the biggie. This is the Absa Bancorp judgment, which had gone through the High Court, through the Supreme Court of Appeals, into the Constitutional Court. And the Constitutional Court came out with a decision early this morning, and I think that was partly because of pressure because of the ongoing spat between her and President Ramaphosa, and partly because, I guess, organizations like the Helen Suzman Foundation said, where is this judgment? And that's important because Mkhwebang's own rules or guidelines is that unless there are really pressing reasons, a judgment should come out with no more than 3 months of the matter being heard. This was now getting over 6 months. And it was so politically important, and I think they must have felt the pressure because they basically upheld the Supreme Court of Appeal, the High Court and the Supreme Court of Appeal's judgments, essentially saying that the entire investigation into Absa Bancorp was flawed, and she was not honest during her investigation. The only thing they didn't grant was an application by the banks for a declaratory order to find that she had abused her office. But in addition, they upheld her liability personally for the costs of the cases. That's extraordinary.
Absolutely.
I mean, that almost never happens, and certainly not an official link to government.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, you know, and again, to anybody watching, it's not that we're taking pleasure or joy out of this. The real issue here is, you know, we've been saying for a very long time on this show that we need to focus more on building strong institutions that hold and check those in power, and hold them to account, and not focus on the particular personalities. But when the particular personalities become a problem enough that they're affecting the institutions, one has to call that out. And when you have a public protector who has had, I think, what is now going on 4 or 5 decisions taken under review, and she loses quite badly, with judges also being quite indictful in how they sort of slam the reports, one has to begin to ask the question, do we have a good public protector, Marius?
Just from what it seems like, we definitely don't. I mean, just from how many things that have been taken on review and so on. I mean, and maybe it's a bit conspiracy theory-ish, but it does seem that she is captured by some nefarious elements in
Absolutely. I mean, this is what's being said about her. And again, to be fair, we don't have the evidence on this, but we do have a growing amount of angst quite clearly against this public protector, to which Sarah, the president, was on our televisions last night speaking about her.
Yes, now that was quite strange because I think on Friday he indicated that he was going to take her decision regarding his matter, the donation from Bosasa, on review.
Yeah.
But then suddenly he comes out Sunday night, which is quite a sort of grave evening for a press conference, and held a formal press conference, which he essentially re-explained that he was going to take her decision on review, and it wasn't as you said, it wasn't the individual, but there were certain things, facts that were not taken into account that he had submitted, and his lawyers had advised him he could. I think it was largely sort of trying to get up a little in the whack-a-mole competition between them and create this status of the president is saying this. It's not just a fight between him and the public protector. It's bigger.
Absolutely. This is one we'll be watching quite closely. We'll be writing about. Remember, you can find all our writing, all our analysis, all the news on the Daily Friend website, dailyfriend.co.za. Guys, let's move on. And Morris, one which I have a personal interest in, as I think all of us have a personal interest in, given how it's affecting our standard of living. Prescribed assets, Marius. Let's just quickly do a quick recap. What is it? What is this policy of prescribed assets that's being proposed by the ANC?
Well, prescribed assets will mean that the government will prescribe where at least some of your pension can go. So they'll say 10% of all pension funds must be invested in, for example, Eskom or whatever the case is. And this isn't a new thing. The apartheid government did it. At one stage, more than half of your pension has been invested where the government told you to. And I think it was Alexander Forbes came out with some interesting research a little while ago, where it showed, I think it was on average, when there was a element of prescribed assets in South Africa from the 60s to the 80s, equities on average got about 20% return. Prescribed assets got 2 or 3%. So you're getting much less money for what you're investing in. And the thing is, if in South Africa, people and pension funds do actually invest in certain infrastructure projects, if there's an asset that backs it, if the entity that's offering this is well run, and if people know they'll get a return on it. So, I mean, we saw the independent power producers, lots of private money went into that. Cape Town just did a green bond auction, which was actually oversubscribed. So people will invest in infrastructure and development projects if people get a return on it. I mean, it goes without saying. But anyway, so the ANC government has been talking about this for some time. Senior leaders in the ANC have been talking about it. And it's quite possible that it's going to happen in the near future, as the government is running out of money and they can't really raise taxes anymore. It's very unlikely they'll go to somewhere like the International Monetary Fund. And there's one other option, but it's the consequences are too ghastly to contemplate, which is printing money. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But so a policy of prescribed assets where your pension fund manager gets told where you must put your money is is a very real possibility.
Absolutely. And Sarah, I'm going to come to you just now. Just a quick comment on this. It does speak to just how much more predatory politicians are becoming. I mean, here are a group of, broadly speaking, leftist ideologues who hold the levers of political power in this country. They tax you to death. I mean, anybody watching this show knows exactly what it feels like to see that tax portion of your salary just disappear into the ether, so to speak. And then you read the news that, the corruption, how they are misappropriating these funds, to then hear that they're coming after your pension. Sarah.
It's absolutely terrifying for a number of reasons, one of which is the fact that any government should try and encourage private citizens to invest in pension funds or pension type facilities from their own money, not to become reliant on the state.
Yes.
So that it takes the pressure off the state to provide people in their old age. And the other thing is I would say the sheer morality of it. I mean, it's such an obvious grab for money. What on earth could they possibly require you to invest in that would provide a return? I mean, as one guy said to me the other day, he doesn't see it as a problem. You can't invest in something that won't give you a return. But I'm not sure the people who intend to impose it will worry about that terribly much.
And this is the question I'll be posing to you, the viewer, you, the South African, in this week's episode of The Big Liberty Show. I'll be hitting the streets of Johannesburg, and I'll be asking people, would you be willing to give up your pension to fund Eskom or SAA or any of these failing and broke SOEs? Would you be willing to give your money over to those guys if the politicians came to take it? And we'll see what South Africans have to think about this. Morris, as we close off this topic, I want people to have a sense of, can I call it duty? Because we're not just sitting back as the IRR and letting this happen. We are in this fight on behalf of people. What are we doing, Marius?
Well, we've gone to ASISA, which is the Association for all the Savings and Investment Organizations in South Africa. We're not sure that they are either aware of this threat or if they don't want to let people know how serious this threat is. We're not sure if they are fighting for who have the best interests of individuals at heart, as in protecting their savings or pensions. And the best way to put pressure on the government is show that there's a large amount of people that are opposed to policy.
Absolutely.
So if we can get lots of people to support us in this thing, so the best way of doing that is going to our website, irr.org.za, then going to the pensions tab, or SMSing the word pension to 32823, and then if we can get a large groundswell of people who oppose this policy, then we can push back against it.
Absolutely. Guys, that's the message. That's the takeaway. Thank you so much to everybody here. And just a reminder to you, help us fight back on your behalf. You can do that by going to our website, irr.org.za. Look for that pensions tab, and you can actually write in, and we'll convey your letter to your fund manager. Ask them the question, what are you doing to save our pensions, save our savings? And of course, support us here on the show. We are wholly dependent on you guys, and you can do that by, again, going to the IRR website, irr.org.za/join, and you can sign up a monthly debit order. Hey, between 70 and 90 Rand is what we're talking about. Or maybe you're old school and you like SMSs. See how I've switched that around now. And you can SMS your name to 32823. Terms and conditions do apply. An SMS will cost you 1 Rand. Someone will give you a call and sign you up for a monthly debit order. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As I said, look out for the Big Liberty Show this week. And here's a nice one for you to mull over. A big announcement is coming this week, a very big announcement. So you can look forward to that. I will keep it under wraps for now. But we'll see you guys on the Wednesday edition of The Daily Friend.